Good afternoon, everybody. This is Linda Jackson speaking from Food Focus, and it gives me great pleasure to be hosting this Women in Quality event this afternoon. It's 2 o'clock all around South Africa, and I'm sure that wherever you are, you're sitting and either freezing, snuggled up close to a heater, or you're experiencing the after effects of a very, very cold weekend with some snow in parts of the Cape. And so interesting times as we're about to go into spring, tomorrow being the first day of spring. First of all, it's just such a pleasure for Food Focus to be invited by PDCA to assist with this Women in Quality event. And before we get too far into it, I'm just going to ask Mira to join us, because this is Mira's brainchild, and she's the person who, at the end of the day, has established this Women in Quality event and the awards process that go along with it. And she's also behind the program for which today's award is actually being presented. And so I'd like to, without any further ado, hand over to Mira, and she's going to give us an introduction to, first of all, the events building up to the BRCGS award that we're going to hand over today, and also just a bit of background regarding Women in Quality. Mira, over to you.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. This is indeed a really special partnership between Food Focus and ourselves. The Women in Quality has taken a little bit of backseat, obviously, with COVID and everything else that has happened. So just a little bit background about who we are. PDCA Solutions is our company, and was established in 2006. We're a management system consulting and training company, and we train on international and global standards, as well as consult and implement those systems. We've also been a partner to the British Retail Consortium, and now it's called BRCGS. As a training partner to them, to provide training on both the global standard for food as well as packaging. We train auditors, organizations, individuals, etc. So it's a very important partnership, and we've been a partner since the formation of the BRC Academy. So we've been doing that for a while, and we've trained many people across the country. So our agenda for today is basically to give you an oversight of the BRCGS Professional Scheme and what it entails, because this is the basis of which we're awarding Mariette the award today. Also talk to you a little bit about the Women in Quality and why it was conceived and what it entails. And then, of course, we will have an interview with our winner, Mariette, and then the trophy handover by her manager and some closing remarks. So that's our agenda for today. So we have a tight schedule, but certainly. So I'm going to start with just giving you a background in terms of what exactly BRCGS is about, particularly for those who don't have an understanding about the British Retail Consortium and the BRCGS. So this is a timeline slide, basically way back in 1996, or just prior to that, the Food Safety Act was published in the UK. And the Act basically required the brand owners, particularly the major retailers, that when you go into retail and you find their own brands on the product. Like in South Africa, we have a retailer with the big W. You look at the packaging and you'll see manufactured for this retailer, or the one with the P and the P, etc. So these retailers basically now have the legal responsibility to ensure the safety of the product and its legality and its quality. So in the Act, it goes further to say that the retailer must in fact visit, or the brand owner must visit the suppliers and ensure that they have systems in place. So there was a lot of duplication in terms of audits and multiple audit burden placed on suppliers worldwide. which is also raising the cost, etc., and inconsistencies in terms of how audit was done. At that stage, you also got this terminology, audit tourism, come in because they were flying all over the world, etc. So subsequent to that, in 1996, the BRC was approached to reduce this burden of multiple audits, but also all the duplication of audits, etc., and asked to establish a single harmonized standard for the food industry. So the first standard that was published was the global standard, or the BRC standard for food safety. It wasn't a very well-written standard because it was written from the retailer's perspective. Because these guys, the British Retail Consortium, is a trade association, not really involved in standards writing, so it was pretty new for them. But it's since evolved. And then in 2000, they took the standard to the GFSI, and they got that recognized and approved by the GFSI. And then subsequently, the standard every 3 years gets amended, and with all the stakeholders. So now it's not a one-sided affair. It's a multi approach to writing the standard. So we've got people from all aspects that are involved in the food industry. So the Act also talked about everyone in the food chain. So subsequently, they've established a number of standards for the food chain. And we've had the packaging and packaging materials, consumer products, storage and distribution, retail, agents and brokers, and so forth. So all of these standards were developed in response to the legislation. But what's happened with the evolution of the standard, it started becoming recognized and accepted globally. And at the moment, we have over 29,000 sites worldwide that are certificated to the BRCGS standards. So it's very wide. There's also presence in terms of the BRC themselves in specific locations like in Chicago, London, New Delhi, Shanghai, Toronto. Well, the South Africa is, we don't have an office here, but being a partner, it's really important that we also have a presence somewhere. So this is basically a standard that has been received very well across the world, and it has also become the main standard for, a robust standard that has got credibility in terms of its role in ensuring food safety across the world. So it's important that before I talk to you about the BRC Professional Scheme, we'll look at what's happening in the world as we know it today. It's evolving and changing all the time. And, we need to take a step back and look at the big picture and try to dissect some of the larger challenges our world is facing. So, of course, the world is going through a rapid change. We call this the VUCA times, with a number of key factors that makes the BRC global standards and the BRC professional scheme an important aspect of ensuring that the food industry and our sector is able to meet the demands of the global changes that are happening in the world. Right, so for a long time, we have continuously been seeing large global issues like population growth, climate change, resource scarcity, and it's becoming more and more prevalent and obvious as we talk. And consumer consciousness, there's a massive movement in terms of consumers and what their needs and expectations are. They are now wanting to know, and even myself as a consumer, I want to know, where's my food coming from? Who's manufacturing it, what's in it, and what's coming in contact with it, etc. So just to look at population growth in 2007, the global population passed 7 billion, right? And it's almost certainly expected that it will exceed 10 billion by the year 2100. So we can see there's an upward trend in terms of population growth, etc. What this means is we will continually need to produce more food to sustain the ever-growing global population out there. We also have to consider resource scarcity. We have to look at the changing global demographical changes, people's diets, because as people's diets changes, the people demand more of certain types of product. For instance, they're opting to eat more meat. That means it's putting a great deal of pressure on demand on natural resources and land and water and the supply chain itself. So we are finding with climate change as well, scarcity in terms of water and other natural resources, etc. So it puts a lot of pressure on the food chain. I think perhaps more relevant today is the impact of COVID-19 and the future of the food resources and food chain. So we sit with the COVID-19, the global pandemic. And I'm sure many of you have recently encountered empty supermarket chain shelves, buying because of increased buying and panic buying, etc. This has put a great deal of pressure on the food chain. We've had lots of countries with increased transmission and infection, where the whole industry was put at risk, like the meat industry in the US, in Germany, etc. In Europe, we found that because of border closures and disruption to supply chain, people were not migrant workers were not able to come across the borders to pick up fruit and produce and all of that from the trees. So food security is very much at risk. So we need to also look at how do we mitigate all of this, right? So despite all of this, we need to continue to supply food and be part of this food chain. So how do we mitigate this is through the role of, one of the means of mitigating this is the role of professionalism. So we need to look at how exactly do we, as professionals in the food industry, deal with these massive challenges that our world is currently facing, and presenting us with subsequent levels of inherent risk. It is important that we have highly trained individuals working within our industry who are able to operate at the highest possible standard. So we call these people professionals. Various dictionaries define professionals as professionalism is a job, is a combination of skill and high standards, or a job requiring specialized knowledge and often long and intensive academic preparation. So what does that look like in reality? And the BRC Professional Scheme is established to ensure that we have specialized knowledge in the food industry. So that's the first thing. And then we need to make sure that regardless of what industry we are operating in, the professionals are known for their specialized knowledge and are extremely competent in their roles. So that's very, very critical for us to ensure that we have safe food and adequate food security at the end of the day. This means there must be a deep commitment to continually developing and improving their skills, and often have the degrees and certifications that serve as the foundation to this knowledge. So professionals are people who are trusted by their employers as well as their customers to get the job done. Honesty and integrity is a pivotal role in ensuring this professional part of this system. As you can be trusted to do the right things at the right time, especially in the food industry, we need professionals that have this high levels of honesty and integrity. So there's a common saying that integrity is doing the right thing when no one is looking. And for me, this is absolute cornerstone to professionalism. A professional will hold themselves accountable for their thoughts, words, and actions, especially when they make mistakes. We're human and we err to make mistakes, etc. So we need to be accountable And we need to be honest in terms of mistakes that we make. The business depends on these professionals that are accountable and honest in what they do. So in response to industry needs, the BRC Professional Scheme was established in 2017. So I'm just going to quickly give you an overview of that. So you'll see this graph here showing you the growth around the world in terms of the BRC Professional Scheme. So the professional scheme is open to certificate individuals working for certificated sites. So the sites that are certificated, their employees undergo training through the BRC Academy. And as they register, they put in their site code, and then immediately they are enrolled for the BRC Professional Scheme. There are, at the moment, 9,000 individuals enrolled on the BRC Educate platform, with over 1,200 coming from North America. So the Americans are very, very keen about growing this. And these 9,000 individuals come from about 118 countries. What's interesting, we now have 170 individuals that have completed the program in full, making the BRC professional status. And also this makes this scheme one of the largest product safety management communities in the world. So it's a very important scheme, and it's growing and gaining a lot of momentum worldwide. So we're very proud to be part of that. So basically, what does one need to complete the BRC Professional Scheme? Of course, you have to be working for a certificated site. We hope that BRCGS will change their view on this, limiting it just to sites. They are looking at another option, but this was because the sites pay royalties and stuff, that it became a free option for them. So there's no additional cost except for, of course, the training cost. So the individual will need to pass one of the following courses. That means do a 2-day training on any of the standards that they are subscribing to. So if you're on a site that is a food site, then you'll of course go for the global standard for food. If you're packaging, the packaging, etc. You may do a lead auditor course, which is 5 days, an auditor training course, which is 3 days, or a conversion course, provided you've done previous sites training. So the one course relating to the standard. Then you need to do one other course relating to hazard and risk management. And that could be either a 2-day HACCP course, a HARA course, a hazard and risk management course, a risk assessment course, or HARPC, that's for the Americans, hazard and analysis and risk and preventive control course, or the FISMA course, which is 2.5 days. So these are some of the courses. And then the last set of courses that you need to do is the product safety management course. You need to do 3 of those courses. And that covers your risk management. These are 1-day courses, except for the internal auditor course. A root cause analysis, validation, verification, internal auditor, vulnerability assessment of food fraud. So any one of those additional courses, 3 of those courses needs to be covered. So you don't have to do them all at the same time. You can do it every time you enroll for BRC Educate. You have created your own unique profile on that, and every time you do a course, you gain credits towards your BRC Professional Scheme. We do, however, run courses to fast track someone. And Mariette and Rudy did the fast track. They did all the courses over 10 days. And that's how they completed it. Right? So each of the courses, for the first 2 courses, the standard and the HARA, there's an exam that they have to sit. And then for the product safety management courses, they've got to do assignments at the workplace to complete that. Right, so once they are certified and on completion of the required courses, they will get a BRC certificate, BRCGS Professional certificate, and they will also get this electronic badge. This is an open badge which will give a visual representation of all the learning achievements. So that badge can be used by the individual on their email addresses, on their websites, etc. And anyone clicks on that badge will be able to see what their status is, etc. So it's very important. They can be shared with their current and prospective employers, colleagues, and clients, etc. to prove their competency and their professional status. Right, so we're very proud as partners to the BRC training partners to have 2 individuals that have completed that full BRCGS Professional, and Mariette is one of them, and Rudy, her colleague. They both have completed that. And this is the certificate they will get, certifying them as completed all of the requirements of the BRCGS. Of course, for each course, they will get those certificates as well as they complete each course successfully. They've got to pass all the exams, etc., to be able to meet those requirements. Right, so the certification, the BRCGS professional status is valid for 2 years, right? So they'll need to make sure they have their continual professional development. They have to manage it themselves, where they can do, they need 20 points in total. So they need points in terms of work-based learning. They can volunteer and they can do mentoring, and they get 1 point. They get 2 points for if they do a half day to 1 day industry course. Industry events like attending lectures, soft skills courses, webinars, 1 hour. So they've got to keep logs of everything on their BRC Educate profile. Publishing articles and e-learning modules, etc. that they do. 5 points for attending BRC approved half day or 1 day courses, or industry courses that are 2 days, or any BRC events. They will now, because of their status, get invitations to BRCGS events, and if they attend that, they will get 5 points for that. And then also they have access now to the category learning modules on the BRCGS platform. Then there are 10 points for an industry course to keep themselves up to date with the technology or the category that they're working in. BRC approved 2-day course and an industry conference. And then of course they have to do, for 15 points, they can do a BRC course for 3 to 4 days or attend a conference and complete a formal industry-related tertiary qualification. So they will be self-managing this on the platform in their profiles. Right. So they will be eligible for their continual professional status once they are actually certificated and achieve their 20 professional progress points within a 24-month time frame. So it's quite a long time frame, and we encourage all the professionals to keep logs. You're reading articles and all, just keep a log of everything you're reading. And every time the standard changes every 3 years, they need to do a conversion course, etc., to keep up to date with that issue, the latest issue of the standard. So why do we need this professional? I think for the individuals, they now have skills, product safety management skills that are recognized globally. It's also a recognition of their personal achievement and can be securely and easily demonstrated. And more importantly, they're part of a global professional community. There's also LinkedIn groups and Twitter and Facebook and all of that. So they're like-minded individuals all over the world, and that numbers are growing, right? The company can, of course, show their customers evidence of their commitment to product safety It helps them to protect the brand because the individuals are understanding better what the product safety requirements are, etc. And most companies say that, they are, people are the biggest asset, so it's an investment in their staff and, putting them ahead of their competitors. And of course, I'm sure Mariette and Rudy will be more in appreciation that they've achieved this through the company, and there will be greater retention of staff, etc. And then, of course, your customers can be assured that you're working with the best suppliers, people that are competent, that are professional, that can understand food safety, etc., and can make the market more proactive to food safety and to the customers, etc. Auditing a supplier, etc., you need product safety experts to go and audit them, etc. It gives great assurance in terms of that. So, of course, it will enhance the individual's product safety knowledge, raise your status as a valuable employee through the professional development and recognition globally with a certificate from BRCGS. You'll gain skills that provide value addition to your profile and become part of the global professional network. And of course, it's flexible training, and now with virtual training, etc., it's more attractive that you can do this however you wish. So we talked about the benefits for the organization, providing skills which can be applied within your company to reduce the risk associated with product safety. And you can demonstrate your customers, the people that you have, know what they're doing and they are competent, etc. And you'll be investing in your employees rather than paying additional costs for non-employees, consultants like myself, etc. But that's how you build your food safety culture, etc., and trust and commitment in your company. And build capacity for performance to protect your brand and your customers. Right, so that brings me to the end of the professional scheme. I'm not sure if there's any questions, or should we revert to questions later?
I think I'd like to ask a couple, if you don't mind, while we're here. In terms of the number of people that have engaged in this program, Amira, in South Africa, how big is the group that Rudy and Mariette are part of that have actually started this journey?
We have like about 60 at the moment. But I'm subject to correction. The people that we have access to their profiles that have come through our training. But there are other people providing training. We don't have access to individuals with this, with other profiles. Yeah. But I will find out. But I think at the moment we have 60 that we are engaging with to get to the professional status.
And just one other thing, Mira, I know this is something that you're very passionate about, but in relation to training providers that are offering BRC training, if I'm correct, there is actually quite a stringent process that a training provider is supposed to go through in order to be a registered training provider with the BRC. Is that correct?
Yes. So of course I started my journey with them more than 14 years ago, and I've been going to them for the train the trainer course. It's very strict, and we write exams, etc. But we also we have access to all of their resources, the training material, the courseware, etc. So we have to prove ourselves competent to be able to do that. But we also pay royalties of a huge load of money every year for using the BRC and working with them. So it's kind of a bit unfortunate sometimes. There are lots of people offering the courses in South Africa, but they don't have this, recognition with BRC, etc., or partnership with them. And so it's unfortunate for the individuals as well that are doing the training, because they can't build that credit towards a qualification like the BRC Professional. So, which is pretty unfortunate. We would like to see more people go down this route, because every time you do a course, you have building on your competency to become recognized internationally as a professional product safety specialist.
Absolutely. So I think that's something to bear in mind for anyone who is considering this this path. Mira, now tell us a little bit more about the award process and the Women in Quality initiative. I know today that we have to actually say, you know, we're unfortunately neglecting Rudy's achievement just a little, which is really unfair. Rudy, I'm really very sorry, you know, that today is all about the women. But we've only got one day left of Women's Month. So please, would you indulge us as we just focus on the role that women play within quality, but that does by no means belittle your the achievement, Rudy, that you have achieved in relation to this amazing fast track process. But Mira, today we really are focusing on women as part of our Women's Month series. So why Women in Quality? Where does it come from?
Well, Linda, you know, I've been in this industry for 35 years. And a few years ago, I was, every year, in fact, I would get invited to a women's function. And it was always the same old, and not being disrespectful to all these amazing women out there. But it was always women that are in the public service, that are in commerce, and, you know, all the other types of industries, but never our industry. And you know, the women in our industry, they work pretty hard behind the scenes to get their organizations to become world class. And for me, that was, you know, something I needed to do, something that needed to happen. And so in 2014, I decided, let me start something, a movement for women in our industry. And with my late husband, we sat down one day and we said, why don't we, and I've been to lots of boring conferences and, you know, I just thought, and always men on the platform. So I said, let me organize something. I meet all these incredible women across, and I work across all kinds of industries, and they are experts in areas of energy management, quality management, environmental management, and all of that. And I said, why don't these women get a platform? So I started the Women in Quality with Shafi, and our aim was to bring the women in quality together and give them a platform to be able to showcase themselves. So the conference is basically supposed to be an annual thing, but we haven't had one for a bit. It's to give recognition to the contribution of women in the quality profession and provide them a platform for them to share their knowledge and expertise and skill sets and best practice, etc. And also a networking opportunity for like-minded women in the quality profession. So that we could also give them an opportunity to take a break from all the hard work and the banging their heads to get compliance in place, etc., and have a fun time and an exciting conference and networking and all of that. So, of course, you might notice we've chosen very vibrant colors for the Women in Quality. And then I asked my nephew to design that logo. And once we had the logo, we had to have a conference. So we've had amazing women at previous conferences. And they all are experts in their field. So the whole aim was to basically give them a platform to showcase their skills, etc., and share with other women. Because it's a very ungrateful job that we do. And, you know, you don't make friends in this job. People don't really like to hang out with you, etc. So why not hang out with women that are like-minded and share, etc. So that was the whole purpose of it. But then I decided one more step. Let's come up with an award and give women a recognition by giving them some kind of award. So we have a number of awards. the Individual Achievement Award is for women that, we recognize as an individual for outstanding achievement, demonstrating leadership in our organization and lasting commitment to promoting quality and making change in our organization. But I must say that this is not only limited to people working as quality professionals of food safety, etc. Any woman that has made a difference in their business, in their society, in improving quality of life, etc., can be nominated. So it's a process of third-party nomination, except this year. We'll explain that just now. So a third party will nominate the individual, and we have a esteemed panel of judges, and they judge made up of women from the certification bodies, etc. And we judge the awards, and they award the outstanding achievement. So it must be a consensus process by these judges, etc. And then we offer the, at the end of the conference, we have the awards, and we have a really fun time. We have belly dances and singing and dancing and high tea and all of that. So it's really fun. And, the women enjoy it, and they really relax and have a lot of fun in that conference. So, of course, this year we've decided, because of COVID, and now that I've become a little bit more proficient on virtual platforms, etc., I said a couple of days ago, I put out a call for papers, but there was no responses. So I called you and I said, I would like to do this before the month end. And we've just got our first professional BRCGS Professionals, and I'd like to give this award to Mariette and to the first woman that has achieved this. So this year, it hasn't followed the normal process of nomination, etc., because we just managed to do this at the last minute. But it is an outstanding achievement, and I would like to acknowledge it. So that's basically Mariette's been awarded this. It's got an amazing trophy. But when we have the proper awards, we also have women from different sectors in the manufacturing, environment, innovation, service, excellence, etc. So we get nominations from quite a range of women from different sectors, and they all get recognized for their achievements. So it's a really fun thing, and I'd like to build on this year and continue with a monthly Women in Quality Forum webinars and give them platform, building up to next year's conference. So that's the plan going forward now. Right, so that brings me to our winner for this year, Mariette. So I'm going to hand over to you now, Linda.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to being part of the monthly Women in Quality Forums. I think it's a great initiative. Mira, I'm really glad that you reached out. So while I'm asking Mariette to join us and bringing her on camera, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her according to her. According to Mariette, she was born in Uppington, and she also matriculated there and completed her further studies very far away from home at the Vaal University of Technology. I'm sending a webcam request now, so you guys can look out for it there in the Northern Cape. If she thinks back on some highlights, a study tour to Argentina, going to Hemengelhausen in Namibia, those are some of the highlights that she's enjoyed. And also, her love of the Northern Cape made her come home. She's decided that she would rather just stay in the Northern Cape, and it's become her home, but not only that, also her place of work, because she's currently working for Red Sun Raisins. She's always been involved with farming. She actually wanted to become a farmer, but her mom and dad had bigger dreams for her. So she decided she would marry a farmer, which she did in 2008, and she lives in Kaimur since then. She's got a wonderful 4-year-old little boy. She's very proud of him. And then she also makes a note that she's very, very inspired by the women in her family, particularly her mom and her grandmother. She's learned many life lessons from them, and with their support, she's never really had a chance to quit. So thank you so much, Mariette, for joining us today. And I'm hoping that we've managed to bring you on camera. Perfect. There she is, sitting in the boardroom, waiting for me to chat to her. So without further ado, Mariette, today is all about you. Please, you must sing our congratulations to Rudy, but today we're just enjoying the fact that we're girls and that we can celebrate Women's Month. Mariette, you've put yourself through a lot of pain in order to get this qualification. So why did you decide to go on this journey?
I've got my current role is a food safety officer at Red Sun. I actually did it for Red Sun because we've got 95% of our product is exported, and I handle most of the, how can I say, the questions and the
compliance requirements.
From all our customers. And it was a huge honor when, and I was a little bit surprised when Mira phoned me and told me she wanted to hand over this award to me, because it wasn't for myself that I got into this. But with this award, I actually get the opportunity now to grow my career also. Cairns is a very small town, so I'm privileged to got this job or get this work at Red Sun. And I've been here for the last 5 years.
And now tell me, how does this contribute, do you think, to your career going forward?
I think it gives me the necessary confidence in knowing that I'm leading the company in the right direction with food safety. And I can also continue to learn and grow in food safety management or food safety standards, requirements.
Sounds good. And I think it must have been a lot of hard work to get through all that training material in 10 days. Where to next? Or no, let me ask you this question. Which courses did you choose? What did you decide to learn? You know, there's such a big selection. Which ones did you choose?
I followed with the BRC 8 standard conversion course, because the first BRC food safety course I took was on issue 7.
Okay.
And then I got in touch with Mira, we are BRC auditor. That's what I heard from Mira first time, because in this area, actually I completed a lot of courses, but it's, like Mira said, it's not BRC recognized. So I had to take all the courses again. And then with Mira's help and assistance, and luckily for COVID, we had the opportunity to take all these courses to a BRC trainer, approved trainer, in our conference room. And I need to thank Peter and the Red Sun management team for believing in us and giving us this opportunity to grow, and also, how can I say, improving on our current food safety system.
Absolutely, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of benefits not only to yourself but to the company, because of the level of qualification that you have and the level of professionalism that you have in relation to the BRC requirements. Peter, I'm now going to hand over to you, because I think that this is a really auspicious occasion, and we'd love to hear from you in relation to the women, you know, the role that women play within your business at Red Sun Raisins. You're the CEO, and tell us a little bit about Red Sun, and also just a little bit about, you know, this particular sort of adventure that you allowed Mariette to embark on.
Well, thanks a million, but I have to say that it's not a question of allowing Mariette or Rudy to do it. It's a question of them understanding where the company is going and quite frankly, volunteering with great enthusiasm and ability to achieve the results that we're seeing today. The company processes around about 15,000 tons of raisins every year. We work 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and we export to 23 different countries, selling to about 72 different customers around the world. So you can imagine that each one of our customers have their own food safety requirements. Now, I can remember starting this business and just doing my mind when I had to get these forms to fill in and this information to supply, the finest detail they needed to have in order to approve Red Sun as a supplier. And then comes Mariette, and Mariette sits down with this methodically, and she goes through the thing, and I can say to you that the women in this company, in Red Sun, are a major, major force, and without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. It starts with my wife, of course. She sits next to me in the office, and we always say she's the real boss of the place. And we have a great respect for the role that the women play in this company. It starts, for example, with the quality management. There is no one better than the ladies in this world to give that close attention and absolute certainty as to what constitutes a quality product and what doesn't. I'm afraid, looking at the male of the species, you're going to look at something and say, you know what, this chap has to leave tonight. You know what, maybe I'll put on a pair of sunglasses and it's going to go away. But the ladies in our business understand that they carry this amazing responsibility for food safety, and therefore they enforce the quality in this company. The quality is one thing to do, the day-to-day tons that go out. We pack 3 containers a day, but in assuring our customers and providing the guidelines for the quality department, that's where Mariette comes in. So what I'm saying is that the women in this company contribute in a very special way. Number one, they direct attention to detail like no one else can. So that's a great attribute of women, I think, in general, but particularly the women working in this company, and particularly Mariette and Chaida Venus, who is our quality manager, is. So that's number one. Number two, there are a lot of rules and regulations and requirements set out for food safety. These requirements all involve spending money and making time and adapting systems to make sure that what you're doing is correct. And we spend a fortune on laboratory tests, etc. And you know what? These ladies have to have the confidence and the force of character to say to Red Sun management, you will spend that money. You will make that allowance on your budget. Because if you want to achieve food safety, that's what you have to do. So these ladies might be the gentle sex, but let me tell you, they are extremely forceful in putting forward the requirements of food safety and making sure food safety is number one priority. So I'm going to say that without these ladies, this company wouldn't be where they are, because we would not be able to supply a product of the quality that the world standards require. So we can say in Camus, a small town where Mariette lives, we're extremely fortunate to be able to deliver to the world a product that satisfies all their food safety requirements.
It pays to be unpopular, Mariette, because it sounds like you have the respect of your boss. Sometimes we have to say no when everyone wants us to say yes, but as the custodian of quality and food safety, it's so important that you do that job with ethics and professionalism, just like Mira said. Peter, thank you so much. And it's great to hear a CEO who is as passionate about food safety and your systems as you are. It does my heart good to hear that. I'd like to now ask you to please present this amazing trophy and certificate to Mariette on behalf of PDCA Solutions, and for all the effort and everything that you've put into this, Mariette. Congratulations from all of us. here at Food Focus, from everybody that is watching the broadcast. You've worked really, really hard, and we're very, very proud of your efforts as a woman. So thank you so much. Also, there's a special shout out to you. On the webinar today is the very first winner, Antoinette Marker, of this award, and she's listening in, and she sent a special message to you to say congratulations. So from all of us here, thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking the time out of your day today to allow this for this award ceremony, and we look forward to many, many good things to come. And we're sending you all a virtual round of applause. Well done on your achievement, Mariette. Mira, over to you.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Mariette. I think it was well deserving. And thank you everyone for attending. I think it's been special to get a platform for our women once again. Thank you to the Red Sun team as well for all the efforts that you made to get the trophy and all of those things. Linda, I want to thank you very much for your participation and for your partnership with this. And most importantly, everyone that has attended. I think we're now on track to get this show on the road every month. I would like to see the women step up and take advantage of this opportunity and present papers and articles or do whatever you want to. This is your forum. And from next month, we will be putting out our flyers to say what we're doing and what we would like you guys to do, etc. So we build a momentum for next year, and conference will be held in August next year for sure. And whether it's virtual conference or face-to-face conference, we're having a conference next year. So I'm very, very excited about it. I think the women in our industry really deserve to be showcased and acknowledged and recognized, and I'm pleased that we could do this today. So thank you everyone for attending. Are there any questions?
No, we didn't have any questions, but we did have a special message from Antoinette. Any questions from the ladies listening in the audience? You're welcome to throw them our way. Thank you so much. I see there's also a couple of gents, so that's great to have you. Thank you everybody for being with us this afternoon. Thank you, Mira, for this opportunity to be a part of this auspicious occasion. We look forward to many, many more. I look forward to attending the conference next year during Women's Month. And for the rest of us, looking forward to Happy Spring Day tomorrow, and hopefully it's a little bit warmer than it is today. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everybody. Do take care.